When Pam Bondi shocked the entire nation by slapping Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with an $80 million lawsuit. 0 cents, no mercy. The political world exploded. Cameras caught every second as AOC, usually unshakable, seemed to unravel live in front of millions. What did Bondi hear that made her take such a drastic step? What did AOC say that pushed her rival over the edge? And how did this confrontation spiral so far out of control that even AOC's closest allies were left speechless? This isn't just another Capitol Hill feud. This is a war where reputations, careers, and the future of political discourse are all on the line. Are you watching from your living room, your office, or halfway around the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't blink, because the ending of this showdown will leave everyone questioning what it really means to cross the line. Stay tuned, because the twist will stun you. In the heart of Washington, D.C., where every headline is a battlefield and every tweet can spark a firestorm, two names have become impossible to ignore: Pam Bondi and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. On one side, Bondi, the relentless legal juggernaut, famous for her no-nonsense attitude and courtroom victories that have left even her toughest opponents reeling. On the other, AOC, the progressive powerhouse, a social media sensation, and the voice of a generation that refuses to play by the old rules. Their paths were always destined to collide. For months, whispers of tension grew louder. Heated debates on the House floor, pointed jabs on live TV, and cryptic posts that sent the internet into a frenzy. But no one expected it to go this far, not even their closest allies. Behind the scenes, the stakes were rising. Bondi's team, armed with stacks of evidence and strategy built for shock and awe, watched as AOC's influence grew with every viral video and trending hashtag. Meanwhile, AOC supporters rallied online, ready to defend her at any cost, convinced that this was more than politics. It was a fight for the future. But what was the final straw? Was it a late-night interview where AOC crossed a line? A leaked document that exposed secrets no one was supposed to see? Or was it something even deeper? A personal betrayal that turned a political rivalry into all-out war? As the city buzzes with rumors and the nation picks sides, one thing is clear. This isn't just about money, power, or headlines. This is about two unstoppable forces on a collision course, and the fallout is about to change everything. The only question left: whose side are you on? It started with a single notification, a breaking news alert that lit up every phone in Washington and sent shockwaves across the country. Pam Bondi files $80 million lawsuit against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Within minutes, the story was everywhere, trending on Twitter, splashed across news tickers, and dissected by every political commentator with a microphone. Inside her office, Bondi sat surrounded by her legal team, eyes locked on the TV as anchors replayed the moment she handed over the lawsuit. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Calls from allies, messages from rivals, and a flood of reporters desperate for a statement. But Bondi didn't flinch. She knew exactly what she was doing. This wasn't just a legal move. It was a declaration of war. Across town, AOC staff scrambled. The Congresswoman herself stared at the headline, her jaw set, her mind racing. For a split second, the usually unshakable AOC looked almost vulnerable. But then, just as quickly, the fire returned to her eyes. She called her team together, her voice sharp and clear. We're not backing down. Not now, not ever. The media circus kicked into overdrive. News vans lined the streets. Protesters gathered outside both offices, and hashtags exploded across every platform. Hashtag Bondi versus AOC. Hashtag 80 million showdown. Everyone wanted to know, what could possibly be worth $80 million? What did AOC say or do? That pushed Bondi to this point. Rumors flew. Some said it was a fiery speech AOC gave on the House floor, calling out corruption by name. Others whispered about a leaked email, a private conversation that was never meant to go public. Theories multiplied by the hour, each more dramatic than the last. But behind the headlines, the real story was just beginning. Bondi's lawsuit wasn't just about money. It was about sending a message. And AOC's response wasn't just about defending herself. It was about standing up for everyone who felt silenced by power. As the first shots of this political war echoed through the Capitol, one thing was certain. Nothing would ever be the same again. And for everyone watching, the question wasn't just what happened, but what would happen next. The city was on edge. Every news channel ran nonstop coverage, dissecting every word, every gesture, every rumor. Outside the Capitol, crowds gathered, some waving signs in support of Bondi, others chanting AOC's name. The air was thick with tension, and it felt like the whole country was holding its breath. Inside Bondi's war room, the mood was electric. Her legal team pored over documents, building a case designed to make headlines. Bondi herself was relentless, reviewing every detail, every possible angle. "We're not just fighting for a verdict," she told her team, her voice cold and clear. "We're fighting for the truth, and we're going to win." But the opposition was just as fierce. In AOC's office, the energy was different, raw, passionate, and defiant. Her staff worked around the clock, fielding calls from supporters, strategizing responses, and preparing for media onslaught. AOC moved from room to room, her presence igniting hope in her team. "They want to silence us," she said, her voice echoing off the walls. "But we're louder than ever." The first shots in the media war were fired that night. Bondi appeared on a primetime talk show, her words measured but powerful. "This isn't personal," she said, looking straight into the camera. "It's about accountability. No one is above the law, not even Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez." The clip went viral within minutes, sparking heated debates across the internet. AOC fired back the next morning with a live stream watched by millions. She didn't hold back. "This lawsuit is a distraction, a desperate attempt to silence dissent," she declared, her eyes blazing with conviction. "But we won't be intimidated. We'll fight this, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who's ever been threatened for speaking the truth." The battle lines were drawn. Allies on both sides took to social media, unleashing a storm of tweets, videos, and think pieces. Hashtags trended worldwide. Memes flooded Instagram and TikTok. Every move, every statement, every facial expression was analyzed, debated, and turned into content. But behind the scenes, the pressure was mounting. Bondi's closest advisors warned her about the risks, political backlash, personal attacks, even threats to her safety. She brushed them off, but late at night, alone in her office, she stared at the city lights and wondered if she'd gone too far. AOC, too, felt the weight. She received messages of support from across the country, but also hate mail and threats. Her family worried. Her friends urged caution, but she refused to back down. "If I let them scare me now," she confided to a trusted aide, "what message does that send everyone watching?" As the days passed, the story only grew. News outlets dug into both women's pasts, searching for dirt, for secrets, for anything that could tip the scales. Old interviews resurfaced. Anonymous sources came forward. The line between truth and rumor blurred, and the public was left to decide what to believe. In the midst of the chaos, a new twist emerged. A leaked recording, its authenticity unconfirmed, surfaced online, hinting at a private conversation between Bondi and a powerful lobbyist. The internet exploded with speculation. Was it real? Was it a setup? And what did it mean for the case? Both camps scrambled to respond. Bondi's team called it a smear campaign. AOC supporters claimed it was proof of corruption. The media ran with it, fueling the fire. As the sun set over Washington, one thing was clear. This was no longer just a legal battle. It was a fight for control, for influence, for the soul of American politics. And as the world watched, the stakes kept rising. Just when it seemed the chaos couldn't get any louder, a single message changed everything. Late at night, as the city's lights flickered and most of Washington tried to sleep, an anonymous account posted a cryptic tweet. "Tomorrow, the real truth drops. Hashtag Bondi versus OC." Within minutes, the tweet went viral. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Newsrooms scrambled, influencers speculated, and both Bondi's and AOC's teams went on high alert. What was coming? Was it a bombshell piece of evidence, a secret recording, or something even more explosive? Bondi stared at her phone, her jaw clenched. AOC's team huddled in a tense silence, eyes glued to their screens. The entire country seemed to pause, waiting for the next shoe to drop. No one knew what would happen at sunrise, but everyone knew one thing. Whatever was about to be revealed could change the game forever. Dawn broke over Washington, but the city was already wide awake. News anchors, political strategists, and millions of viewers across the country were glued to their screens, waiting for the promised revelation. The hashtag Bondi vs. OC was still trending at #1, and every minute brought a new wave of speculation. At exactly 8 a.m., the anonymous account delivered. A video appeared, grainy, shaky, but unmistakably real. It showed a closed-door meeting, voices muffled but clear enough to catch fragments of a heated exchange. Bondi's voice, sharp and commanding, cut through the static. If she crosses that line, there will be consequences. Another voice, believed to be a senior advisor, replied, "She already has. The world just doesn't know it yet." The internet erupted. Was this the smoking gun? Was Bondi plotting something behind the scenes? Or was it just tough talk in a high-pressure moment? News outlets replayed the clip on loop, dissecting every word, every pause, every sideways glance. AOC's team seized the moment. Within hours, she was live on social media, addressing her supporters directly. "This is what we're up against," she said, her voice steady but her eyes burning with intensity. Backroom threats, secret deals, and a system that punishes anyone who dares to speak out. But we're not afraid. We're not backing down. Bondi, meanwhile, faced a storm of questions. Reporters crowded outside her office, demanding answers. She held a press conference, her tone unflinching. "There are no secrets here," she declared. "Everything I've done in the open. This video is nothing but a distraction from the real issue, accountability." But the damage was done. Allies who stood firmly behind Bondi began to waver. Some called for transparency. Others distanced themselves quietly. The power dynamic was shifting, and both sides felt it. As the days passed, the battle only intensified. Bondi's legal team filed new motions, each one more aggressive than the last. AOC's lawyers countered with fiery statements and public rallies. The courtroom became a stage, every hearing a spectacle broadcast to millions. Outside, the city was a pressure cooker. Protesters clashed on the Capitol steps, their chants echoing through the streets. Social media was a war zone. Memes, conspiracy theories, and viral challenges flooded every platform. Even late-night comedians couldn't resist, turning the feud into nightly punchlines. But behind the scenes, the toll was mounting. Bondi's closest friends noticed a change in her. Long nights, short tempers, a rare uncertainty in her eyes. She confided in her sister one evening, her voice barely above a whisper. "I thought I was ready for this, but I never imagined it would get this personal." AOC, too, felt the strain. She found herself replaying old conversations, wondering if she'd missed a warning sign, if she'd underestimated her opponent. In a rare moment of vulnerability, she admitted to a friend, "I knew politics was brutal, but I didn't know it could feel like this." Then, just as the dust seemed to settle, another twist. A whistleblower came forward, an aide who claimed to have witnessed a crucial conversation between Bondi and a major donor. The story broke overnight, sending shockwaves through both camps. Was there more to the lawsuit than anyone realized? Was this about silencing a critic or protecting a secret? The media frenzy reached new heights. Every network ran exclusive interviews. Every podcast dissected the latest revelations. The public was divided. Some saw Bondi as a crusader for justice, others as a power-hungry operator. Some hailed AOC as a fearless truth-teller. Others accused her of playing the victim. In the midst of it all, both women refused to blink. Bondi doubled down, promising to see the case through to the end. AOC rallied her supporters, vowed to fight not just for herself, but for everyone watching. As the next court date approached, the city braced for impact. The stakes had never been higher, the lines never clearer. And as the world watched, one question echoed louder than ever. Who would come out on top, and what would it cost them? Just when the world thought it had seen every twist this battle could offer, the story took a turn no one saw coming. On a stormy Friday evening, as thunder rolled over the Capitol, a confidential document was leaked to the press, one that would flip the entire narrative upside down. The document, stamped top secret, revealed that the $80 million lawsuit wasn't just about a single comment or a fiery speech. Hidden in the fine print was a list of names, powerful figures, lobbyists, and donors, allegedly connected to a shadowy network influencing key decisions on Capitol Hill. And at the center of it all, a series of encrypted emails between Bondi and a mysterious third party, discussing strategies to neutralize political threats. The internet went into meltdown. News anchors interrupted regular programming. Social media exploded with theories, accusations, and wild speculation. Was Bondi acting alone, or was she just a pawn in a much bigger game? And what did AOC know about these secret dealings? AOC's team wasted no time. In a hastily called press conference, she stood before a sea of cameras, her voice steady but her message clear. This isn't just about me. This is about the integrity of our democracy. If these documents are real, then the American people deserve answers. Now. Bondi, blindsided by the leak, scrambled to respond. Her lawyers called the documents fabricated nonsense, but the damage was done. Allies who had stood by her side began to distance themselves, and even her most loyal supporters demanded transparency. The power dynamic shifted overnight. Suddenly, Bondi was on the defensive. Her every move scrutinized, her motives questioned. AOC, once the underdog, now held the upper hand, at least a moment. But as the dust settled, one thing became clear. The real battle was just beginning. The lawsuit was no longer just a headline. It was a window into the hidden power struggles shaping the nation. And as both women prepared for the next round, the world watched, knowing that the next move could change everything. The day of the showdown arrived, and Washington felt like a city on the edge. News helicopters circled overhead. Crowds packed the courthouse steps, waving signs and chanting slogans. Inside, the air was electric. Every seat filled, every camera trained on the two women at the center of the storm. Pam Bondi entered first, her face set in stone, flanked by her legal team. She moved with the confidence of someone who had spent her life in courtrooms, but even she couldn't hide the tension in her jaw. Across the aisle, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sat surrounded by supporters, her expression calm but her eyes sharp, scanning the room for any sign of weakness. The judge called the court to order, and the world seemed to hold its breath. Bondi's attorney launched the opening salvo, painting AOC as reckless, irresponsible, and dangerous to the very fabric of American democracy. He waved the leaked emails in the air, demanding answers, insisting that the lawsuit was about restoring order and accountability. Every word was calculated, every accusation designed to land like a punch. But AOC was ready. When it was her turn, she stood up, no notes, no script, just raw conviction. She looked the judge in the eye and spoke not just for herself, but for everyone watching. This isn't about money. This is about silencing voices that challenge the status quo. It's about fear. Fear of change, fear of truth, fear of the people finally being heard. The courtroom buzzed with energy. Reporters scribbled furiously, cameras zoomed in, and social media lit up with live reactions. Outside, the crowd roared as AOC's words echoed to the marble halls. Then came the moment no one expected. The judge, after reviewing the new evidence, called both legal teams to the bench. A hush fell as he spoke. There are questions here that go far beyond this courtroom. The American people deserve transparency. I am ordering a full investigation into the allegations raised by these documents. Gasps rippled through the room. Bondi's face paled, her composure cracking for the first time. AOC supporters erupted in cheers, while her opponents looked on in stunned silence. The battle lines had shifted once again. The lawsuit was no longer just a personal vendetta. It had become a national reckoning, a fight over the soul of American politics. And as Bondi and AOC locked eyes across the courtroom, both knew that whatever happened next, their lives and the country would never be the same. The judge's order for a full investigation sent shockwaves far beyond the courtroom. News outlets scrambled to keep up as new details emerged by the hour. The city buzzed with rumors, and the nation watched as the story unfolded in real time. Pam Bondi, once the unshakable force in this battle, found herself under a microscope. Reporters camped outside her home, demanding answers. Former allies distanced themselves, issuing carefully worded statements about letting the process play out. Bondi's team worked overtime, issuing denials and trying to control the narrative, but the pressure was relentless. In private, Bondi faced her toughest critics, her own conscience and the people she trusted most. For the first time, she questioned whether her pursuit of victory had cost her more than she was willing to pay. Meanwhile, AOC's world was transformed. Supporters flooded her office with messages of encouragement. Her social media following soared, and her words in the courtroom became rallying cries for a new generation. But even in victory, AOC felt the weight of the moment. She knew the investigation could reveal uncomfortable truths on all sides. She urged her followers to stay vigilant, reminding them that real change required more than just a single win. As the investigation began, new witnesses came forward. Some confirmed the leaked documents, while others cast doubt on their authenticity. The media spun every revelation into breaking news, and the public's trust in the system wavered. Protests erupted in cities across the country, some demanding justice for Bondi, others celebrating AOC's stand against corruption. In the midst of the chaos, both women retreated from the spotlight, if only for a moment. Bondi spent long nights reflecting on her choices, wondering if she could ever reclaim her reputation. AOC, surrounded by her closest friends, allowed herself a rare moment of relief. But she knew the fight was far from over. As the dust settled, one thing was clear. The battle between Bondi and AOC had changed the game. The lines between right and wrong, truth and spin, had blurred. And as the investigation pressed on, the nation waited, hungry for answers and wary of what might come next. Weeks passed, and the investigation's findings finally came to light. The headlines were everywhere. Some truths confirmed, some rumors debunked, and some questions left hanging in the air. The nation watched as the dust settled, trying to make sense of what it all meant. Pam Bondi, once the face of unwavering authority, stood before the cameras one last time. Her voice was steady, but her eyes revealed the toll the battle had taken. "I believe I was fighting for justice," she said, "but sometimes the lines between right and wrong aren't as clear as we want them to be." She stepped away from the spotlight, her legacy forever changed, not just by the lawsuit, but by the choices she made when the world was watching. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, now more than ever a symbol of resilience, addressed her supporters with a message that echoed far beyond politics. This wasn't just about me or one lawsuit. It was about standing up when it's hardest, about refusing to be silenced, and about demanding better from those in power. Her words inspired a new wave of activism, but she, too, carried the scars of the fight, reminders that every victory comes with a cost. For the public, the showdown became more than a headline. It was a mirror reflecting the deep divisions and the urgent need for truth in a world full of noise. Some saw heroes, others saw villains, but everyone saw the price of power and the courage it takes to challenge it. As the story faded from the front pages, one lesson remained. Real change is never easy, and the fight for integrity is never truly over. The world moved on, but the echoes of this battle would shape conversations and the leaders of tomorrow. As the dust settles and the headlines fade, the story of Bondi versus AOC leaves one question echoing in every living room, office, and phone screen. What would you do if everything you believed in was on the line? This wasn't just a battle between two powerful women. It was a wake-up call for anyone who cares about truth, justice, and the future of our democracy. The world watched, debated, and took sides. Now, it's your turn to join the conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Whose side were you on? What twist shocked you the most? And what do you think this showdown means for the future of politics? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that go beyond the headlines and dive into the heart of the action. Hit the like button if you believe in standing up for what's right, and share this video with someone who needs to see the real cost of power. Because in a world where every voice matters, your story could be the next one that changes everything.